What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage and welcome to a new camera angle that I don't necessarily like. Let me see if I can get this thing squared away here. I finally broke down and bought another monitor and everything's kind of out of whack now. So I've got to get things sorted out and make sense here. And for some reason, the chat window is populating things multiple times over here. It's always something at the garage. And I don't look good, do I? Oh well. Oh well. What is everybody going on? Welcome back to the #1 Tuning Live podcast. Nah, I guess this isn't a podcast anymore. Live streaming tuning show on the YouTube's planet where we get around, talk about performance mods, talk about tuning, talk about everything that is good in life. I am actually drinking a Truly tonight. I see some people talking about what we're drinking in the chat room. Normally, I don't drink on a school night, but I thought I would go ahead and loosen up tonight and have a Truly. So who we got going in here? I see Tug. Good to see you, Tyler. Ted, MK, as always. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. John Doe, who's just could be anybody. Red X-Ray's back. Rokon, S10, Steelers, 743. Jim White. Anxious to hear about Jim White's scaling issues. Trinity, good to see you. Casey, good to see you. What is going on, everybody? I don't know why this stuff on the corner is just garbage spam. I tell you what, let's hide it for now. We'll make that part go away over there. We'll get back. Hey, Ross. Hey, David. Hey, Scuba. Hey, Ben. Hey, Michael. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us live on Thursday night. Thank you for all the people that have subscribed, all the members out there on the YouTube. I will put some content out for the members on YouTube here soon. I promise you I was doing pretty good there for a while. Things have been crazy. And then, of course, thank you to all the patrons out there. Couldn't do this without you guys. So, quick breakdown. I missed last week's Thursday night. How do you like it, Goat? How does it feel? Oh, yeah. I barely noticed LSX. Sorry. Quick breakdown where we're at on the Super Auto. We're waiting on the cam motion cam. Still waiting on it. I broke down, ordered a Circle D torque converter, 3,000 to 3,200 stall. I figure I'm just sitting there looking at the empty engine bay with the torque converter right there. I was like, literally, I could just pull that one out and put one in, and it would save me so much headache. So I did the math in my head. Math genius stuff of time versus money versus... I just said, to hell with it. Let's go ahead and do it. So, Vastelite, I have a question from the class that I don't think we covered. How do you change the commanded AFR when going to a boosted setup? That is all going to be underneath your power enrichment table. So the thing about it is you're going to go in there, adjust your power enrichment, enable commands like whenever PE comes on, your RPM, map if it has it on there, torque on the later generations, and basically set up your PE table to get into enrichment. So utilize the PE table as boost enrichment. If you are in a boosted platform that's stock from the factory, you will have boost enrichment. You will have the option of doing boost enrichment. For all of us NA guys adding power adders on there, though, we just use things like RPM, throttle position. Throttle position is a big one. You can go in there, bump down your throttle position, play around with it until you get the response that you want. I like to bring mine on around 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs based on throttle position. I look for the point in which I start getting into boost, and I use that. Joshua Britton, you are going to get blocked if you're not careful. Not even by me, it'll just happen. Catan, I forgot to ask, isn't your caddy built on a C6 frame? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Everything is basically C6 except for the drivetrain. D&Z, hey everybody, AEM wideband gauge 300300, TMPVI2. I'm trying the DB9 to USB to hub. You don't necessarily need the hub, but you don't need the Pro cable. You should be able to just use the USB to serial converter, bring it in on pins 2 and 5. The signal goes on 2, ground goes on 5. Report on the 6L80. Shifts great. Fast and crisp. He's got to dial back the pressure. A little bit too much pressure. It's easy to overshoot the pressure on the 6L80s. I got a new drive-by-wire gas pedal harness from Spear Tech. Perfect. Finishing up the SSR. That's the other thing, Mike. I did order the Speed Engineering long tubes. What's going on, Super Slorado? Sorry to hear that, Shaving for Life. Tyler Rice is correct. If you're using the 300300, make sure you look underneath the serial tab whenever you're adding your wideband in. Ultimatum 89. How'd you come up with the name of your channel? Well, that's a good one. I'm from Oklahoma, and a goat rope is just kind of any situation that's gotten out of hand. If you grew up on a farm like I did, you went through plenty of goat ropes. My grandpa and my dad were the kings of the goat rope. And speaking of which, Dad has not been on here for a while. Ah, there you go. Jim, I'm excited to get into that. I think that if we do the math kind of broken out like we talked about earlier, we'll probably be good. See, GMH Car Guy, waiting on this hat. I messaged you on this. I don't check messages on Instagram, so that's not the best way of getting a hold of me. If you ordered a hat in the last week, it should be going out in the next couple days. Basically, the way I do shipping, because I've got so much crap going on, is I go about once a week, sit down, just go through everything that needs to be shipped out. And in fact, there's a lot of people on here that have won things in the past. They're finally slowly trickling in. I've got 3 of the t-shirts that I owe people this week. So if you want a t-shirt, you won some coffee mugs, things like that, those things will be going out very soon. What's the safest way to detune a car? You say running 11s and want to slow it down to 1150s. Jay Thompson, I would probably try pulling a little bit of timing out on the top end and try and get it down in that area. If you see the key with no symbol around it, you're under the wrong tab. Correct. If you see the key with no symbol around it, that means that you're using the ProLink features and you do not have the ProLink features. Hey, Tony. My dogs are going crazy. Trying the new Harris new drive-by-wire gas pedal. LSX type, what is your, what's your name? Because I feel like we're talking about something that we've been emailing about recently with gas pedals. GMH Car Guy, are you in Australia? Ah, your dog's barking at my dogs. Gotcha, Jim White. As I said, double the AFR, double the stoic. I don't know. I was thinking of somebody else, Walter. Sorry. My dogs are probably barking at the UPS guy. UPS guy shows up really late around here. GMH, do I owe you a free hat or did you order one off the website? Because the guy that ordered one off the website in Australia, it went out last week, but it will be slow. Congratulations, you got that hat for a steal. I paid as much in shipping as you paid for the hats. Logged a car the other day and the oil pressure was reading negative 15 psi. What is up with that? Well, the oil pressure sensor's wrong. It's bad. UPS man, yes, the UPS man today is bringing gaskets and lifters. Chris, honestly, I have no clue. There might be some people up here in the chat that can give you some pointers on some people that get into diesel tuning. I don't even touch on that stuff, man. Don't look at it, don't care about it. Just not into diesels. And I've owned 2 Duramaxes, so. What's going on, Zeph? Good to see you, bro. Any pro tips on getting the oil pressure sensor out of the valley cover without removing it? Which valley cover are you talking about? Because on the Gen 5s, it's right there. It's easy to get to. Ah, good. Glad to hear it, Tyler. I was pretty sure that was what was going on. As soon as you sent me that screenshot, I was like, that does not look right. Ah, don't worry about GMH Car Guy. Just happy for some representation down under. I did go back and change the website, though, so international shipping is now correctly calculated. Get what socket? Oh, is there a special socket for getting that thing off? Yeah, I was about to say, take the intake off. It's right there. That is quite all right. That's delete. I've got so much going on, man. Just whenever you get around to it. Just something for the future for me to play around with. Vaseline is hooking me up with some Gen 3 ECMs, PCMs. I guess technically they're PCMs because they're powertrain control modules because they control the engine and transmission. Heat it up. Throw the torch at it. Come on, Catan. What's the worst you can do? Start a fire? But I don't want to take the intake. Oh, seriously, man, it's easy to take the intakes off these things. Unless you've got a high ram that's built up into your cowl like mine. Which I have to get up underneath there and cut some more space out so I can install the whole manifold without having to break it down. But I'm not doing any kind of cutting on anything until the engine's bolted up and there's no open cylinders. Ah, interesting. My Gen 3 is reading negative 15 on oil also, but the cluster shows normal. Have you tried logging other oil pressure parameters in the scanner? Well, you know, you got plenty of room. It's the fact that mine is tucked up underneath the cowl by the firewall. Have you seen the demanded torque going to negative? Yes, Steven, that is normal. Demanded torque going into negative happens whenever you let off the throttle because demanded torque is what the ECM requires in order to shut the throttle body. If the demanded torque never went into negative, the throttle body would never shut. There you go. Vaseline says Gen 3 does not log oil pressure at all because Chevy for Life says it does not go to the computer. Oh, hey, Dana. There's my aunt. Good to see you in here. We always have some kind of family popping in over every once in a while. I'm surprised, Dan, I'm surprised you're somewhere where you could actually log in. Hey, Burley, good to see you. It's been a while. Yes, that is exactly why you would see negative 15. Omar, you've got in here for a live stream. Got in here early. In fact, we're going to start a giveaway here. We're calling this giveaway Kyle's Folly. I am giving away one of the dead pistons from the Super Auto. So, have a piece of history, as it were. Just here in Dallas. Good to hear it. Hopefully the family's good, Dana. I miss you guys. Hope to make it down there soon. Yeah, P59, that's kind of one of those odd kind of mid-years. There you go, Brewmaster. So, as I said, we are in the middle of getting everything bolted back together. I actually broke a compression ring yesterday. Don't tell anybody. I may have gotten a little bit carried away trying to drive a piston home. Yeah, that sucks. So I got 7 of the 8 pistons in. We'll put the 8th piston in tomorrow. Waiting on the cam. Got everything basically else at this point in time. So cam should be here in the next couple days. Hopefully the long tube headers will be here Tuesday. I'm not sure when Circle D is going to get out the torque converter. So those are kind of the things that we need to do before we can bolt everything back in. But really hoping the cam shows up quick so we can go ahead and just pull the front cover off while it's on the stand, get the cam swapped in, get the lifters in, get the heads back on, start buttoning everything back up. You know how it goes. What RPM would you recommend? Minimum RPM would you recommend for PE? It depends. Naturally aspirated, I like to keep it a little bit higher, maybe around 4,000 or so. Boosted, I like to get into PE right as you start crossing over the threshold. Not necessarily a boost. So not positive map pressure, but maybe a little bit before you get into positive map pressure. I like to see a little bit of PE to ramp into there. Which timing set am I using? Need to get one for my 408. Which time? I'm just using the stock timing set. Just going back in, I'm locking the cam out. Full lockout on it. Onalki87. What are some things that make an E40 start to stumble and AFR go crazy at 4,000 RPMs? You're shifting over into solid state around 4,000. So it is probably MAF sensor related. So you could go in there, double check, lower your dynamic and put it into MAF earlier on, see if you have issues, or you could max out dynamic and put it strictly on the VE table and see if it clears up the stumble at 4,000 RPMs. But most likely it's MAF sensor related. What about PE on an NNA motor? When would you bring it in? I like to bring it in around 4,000. 4,000 RPMs for me. Jeremy H., you are correct. I'm locking out full VVT delete, full AFM delete. We're going to Morel lifters, locking out the phasers. Honestly, I wish I could go ahead and just swap it over to the non-phase cam. But for the money, it's not worth it. Nobody's really having issues just running straight lockouts on it. So, I mean, I've got so much money going into everything else right now that is so low on the totem pole that it's just like... LSX, if you send me a hat, I'll wear it. If you buy one, I'll send you one. I got to make my money back. I spent a lot of money on these hats. Jet Black, if your boost PIDs only work on a factory boosted car, there is a built-in math parameter in HP tuners that takes boost or map pressure versus barometric and generates a boost reading. So use that instead. Red X-Ray says, I like to use ARP piston ring compressors. You can push the pistons in with your thumbs and not to worry about crackling. Honestly, 6 of them went in with my thumbs, no issues, using one of the compression style ratchet ones. Next time I would probably go the route that you're talking about, one of the ones that go down and match your bore. So and honestly, it was the second one that I had, and I didn't realize that the piston had gotten a little bit sideways, and so I couldn't see that it was one of the compression rings was sticking out. My dogs are just going crazy. There's also deer outside right now, so. Well, you got large, extra large LSX. Shape for Life says, I bring mine in as soon as I'm wide open throttle. Have you seen games wait until it's 4K? Not necessarily, and if you're adjusting your pedal one, by all means, have it come on whenever you get your pedal to 100% regardless. But if you're just looking at whenever you need to go into PE just based on RPM, I like to bring it in on about 4,000. Tyler Rice, my stuns. I know, man. Speaking of which, since Tyler's here, big shout out to Colton. One of our littlest fans out there. He may not be watching because it's probably in bed or he's eating or he's taking a nap underneath his goat rope garage hat that he stole from his dad. But Tyler was nice enough to send me some pictures of Colton that stole his hat because he's a goat rope garage fan. Doing an LS swap into 99 using a 411 PCM, which originally tuned was a V6. I was told you can't just copy and paste all parameters from a 5.3. Is that true? And honestly, I don't know about that, Matthew. There's probably somebody in here that can probably tell you more about using a 411, which was originally a V6. I would think that you could probably do a ride entire. I don't know. You could use an OS flash on that, but 411s are not my specialty. How do you prevent a 6.2 Gen 5 with an A8 shifting into higher gears at cruise speed? It's making revs since 1100 and truck bucks and hits off the drive tank. Deidre, you're going to have to go in there and adjust your RPM and shift speed tables both. So you're going to have 2 tables in your TCM, but the problem being is based on what year the Gen 5 is, you might have to send the TCM in to be unlocked. What does that start around 2017? If you got a 14, 15, it's not a big ordeal. You can go straight into the TCM, go in there, adjust your shift speeds, tell it that, hey, you want to hold this gear out till a higher speed or a higher RPM, and it should work for you. What size hat am I wearing? Large, extra large, because of all this brain power. When you get up and running, can you explain the cam lockout in log? I've seen some that have a lockout and still see it go higher. Just because you see it go higher, it might be commanding, doesn't mean it's actual. You know, make sure that you're looking at it. You can still ask for it. Go in, make sure and disable it in the tune, though, and it shouldn't even be trying to do it. 93 LS2. I think I have one custom tune available right now. As I said, I only do so many custom tunes at a time. So as I finish one up, I will open up another slot, and there's been a pretty big demand on it. So every time that I finish one up, somebody else buys another one. So Dirt Floor says you got a segment swap on that 411. I figured that might be the case. Mallory 7 says DFCO off. Should the wideband read 1 lambda or go ... If it's going ... DFCO is still on. Doesn't necessarily want to read 1 lambda, but it should not go ... or dash is full lean. Okay. Never mind. That was somebody answering. Somebody else wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Is it bad to run your car on the street with DFCO off? No. Might cause some issue if you're still running cats. Keep that in mind, though. Jay Thompson. Nope. Crank, bearings, everything looks good. Hemi conversion Wrangler 5.7 block, all 6.1 motor parts, intake, manifold, oil pan, bigger cam, larger 90mm throttle body using a 5.7 Dodge tune. Any tips to build a good tune? Appreciate. Turn off neural networking, switch it over to volumetric efficiency. How good can the Holley Terminator be dialed in for drivability? It is important to me. Perfect. You can dial it in perfect. Perfect. The Holley Terminator is a real-time tuning ability ECM. Whenever you set up your boundaries that you want that thing and say, hey, the Cadillac drives perfect. To run E85, what were you asking about, Omar, that you're asking about E85 or premium? So laptop snag for tuning. Oh, well. Solid laptop for tuning is anything that has Windows on it. Everything works. I've got a video out there in which I bought the cheapest Windows tablet I could find on Amazon. It was like $100 and it worked perfectly fine for tuning. So don't get too hung up on it. HP Tuners is pretty good on that. Nobody followed Kyle's instruction on Gen 3 VE tuning. Ain't that right, Kyle? Why Gen 3? Would you recommend tuning the PE to always be active? I mean, only if you want terrible gas mileage and to foul out the plugs at idle. No, you want to run stoic at cruise. Oh, well, yes, correct. Chevy for Life is talking about the fact that you need to tune the secondary table. I need to do an addendum to that. If you're tuning Gen 3 speed density, you are on the secondary table whenever the math has failed. Max recommended timing for LS3 engines, normally aspirated or boosted? Normally aspirated, I don't know, 25 degrees? 26? You can probably get 26 out of it all right. You want to, honestly, you want to take it up until you don't make any more power yet. GMH Car Guy found out more about the new AFI Live yet? No, they've got it on the website, but it is not listed for sale yet. They have finally rolled out a little bit late the small ones, the ones that you send out to people whenever you're doing remote tuning, which don't necessarily care about that. The auto cows. Once they do get the other ones out, yes, we will dive into it. Ooh. I hear you, DY. Well, don't feel bad. I tried to pull my wideband sensor out of my Y pipe as I was doing modifications and literally twisted the thing in half and had to buy a brand new 4.9. The Terminator X is just great for, as I said, for driving around. It works amazing. With fuel pressure dropping causes stumble around 4,000 RPM and AFR to go crazy on the E40. Yeah, fuel pressure dropping at any time can cause lean spikes. So just be aware of that. You have to have consistent fuel pressure to be able to tune. Chevy for Life runs 42 degrees in my 5.3. Casey's still in here. I think Casey got up to 50 degrees on his. So 42 degrees. You are exceeding the maximum brake timing. You're going to destroy something. I know you're kidding, but still. Don't be saying stuff like that. Somebody will try it. Jeremy says, fixing the blow motor makes me want to keep my smaller Whipple pulley sitting on this. Listen, we knew we were going to blow this motor one way or the other. We were running 20 PSI on a stock rotating assembly, which is just absurd. The fact that I ran 16 on that thing without blowing it is absurd. It is just a testament to what methanol injection can do for you whenever you are modifying boosted applications. That was with an intercooler. Now we were running 20 PSI without an intercooler, literally coming out the hot side of the blower straight into the intake manifold. And honestly, it would have been catastrophic if we wouldn't have had methanol on there and the auxiliary fuel system. So that is, I think, probably was the saving grace that just kept us from popping the ring lands. On top of it, if I hadn't gotten mad at the back end of the quarter and just jammed the throttle out of nowhere because I was in a bad mood, that wouldn't have happened. Not to say something catastrophic wouldn't have happened. I said from the get-go, going to the track, that we were planning on towing this thing home. I went and bought a trailer because I knew it was not going to survive the weekend. So it was a matter of time, and it is the motivation to go in there, properly build up the bottom end, and make seriously sick power. Is the fuel pressure on the scanner on my Gen 4 accurate? Should be, Jim White, because you literally have a fuel pressure sensor on your fuel lines. It would have been fine. You know, it's not even going lean that killed it fastly. It's the fact that it had 36 degrees of timing whenever it went lean. Lathan, I have no clue why it only killed one bank. That's something that's still, I'm not quite sure on. Yeah, exactly. When you go to the track planning to blow your stuff up, that is the sweet spot. I'm more perturbed by the fact that the TCS and the StabiliTrak was fighting me, and so everybody says, wire. I've ordered a switch so I can wire into one of the ABS sensors and just disable it, because that's what was making me mad. That's why I was mad, is because I was getting through first gear and then into second gear, it was just shutting all the power down. Hey, Brandon. Ross, so adding bigger injectors, should I multiply the whole table injector flow rate by kPa VAC by the percentage bigger the new injectors are? That is the way you do it if you do not have proper injector data. Try and get injectors that have proper injector data that you can actually plug into the format through HP tuners. That will save you a lot of headache and a lot of hunting. But if you can't get injector data, yes, that will work. Jay Thompson, I am doing both. Meth and E85. What destroys NA engines other than not too much timing? Too much timing, too much cylinder pressure. It's the same thing. You can still kind of blow the same thing up on an NA engine. You're not going to. If you're just out there with an NA engine and you've got all the bolt-ons on the face of the planet and stuff like that in a proper tune, you're never going to really run into the risk unless something catastrophic happens to your fuel systems, things like that. It's only whenever we get into power adders, nitros, boost, things like that, that we end up blowing motors up. Honestly, and I've talked about this in the past, if you were tuning an NA engine, you would really have to screw some settings up in your tune to destroy an NA engine. Is the even side after the fuel line crossed over, is it fed first? The fuel lines are split off and individually fed. So, on the secondaries. On the primaries, which shut off, I mean, the primaries are off. The secondaries were still flowing. Yeah, I know, shave for life. Yeah, DY, I'm a little bit disappointed that it didn't grenade itself, but, I mean, we get to build it back and show what a 5.3 can do. Got any get the thoughts on get together this summer or fall? We're just going to have to see what's going on with the plague. Hey, James, good to see you. Yeah, so Sam, turn off neural networking, turn on standard VE for the Dodge, and just tune it like a normal VE table. Tune the video on basics to look at when adding boost to an NA engine. Kyler, we will be doing some of that whenever we get the Super Auto back on, talking about things that we need to look out for going into boost. So what caused the ECM to wig out? James, I still think that it was we were in a transient state where, you know, if you're at the mass airflow sensor is working on a steady state algorithm, and there is the VE table in the background that is still doing transient state fuel calculations, and based on the transient amount of throttle, it's further out that the VE table goes, that we got far enough out that it was basically washing the MAF signal out, going over to the VE, and then we stepped into a range of the VE table in which there was negative volumetric efficiency, which pulled all fuel. I'm not going to test this theory out, though. Unfortunately. Yeah. And well, and the regular direct injection is just there for putting around. Yeah, I'm still tuning. I'm just not going to tune with a big crowd or go meet, you know, a bunch of people whenever people are, you know, getting sick again. That seems to be what it was. Mauer 7 was that the ABS, yes, James, I'm going to tune both. Seems to be that the ABS system, which controls TCS and StabiliTrak, even though if you read through all the documentation, it says that it's only whenever the vehicle is going sideways that StabiliTrak kicks in, but a lot of the Corvette guys were having issues with the same thing, hard launching, causing that thing to wig out. And so the solution is to wire a switch into one of the wheel speed sensors, open that up, it, you know, wigs everything out and makes it mad, but in doing so it shuts off ABS, traction control, StabiliTrak, all that stuff. Tried octane boost fuel additive on an NA stock tune and feel like I lost power. Why? Well, Patrick, if you're not getting into any kind of knock, lowering you off of the timing table that you're on, the high octane table, adding octane is not going to help anything. There you go. Jeremy H says, when you have the ABS switch in, no dynamic sensor in play, it will feel like a totally different truck. That's scary. Jim White, I will take you up on that. We can meet somewhere in the middle, because I know that your setup's going to be a beast. So, well, you know, I remember Catan back in the day running my Corvette. I never turned StabiliTrak off because it wasn't an issue, and it kicks back on over 35 miles an hour anyways. But it was not making the kind of power that we were we were making on this trip. No Chevy for life. We're not doing that. Yeah, I think that there might be a fuse that you can tap it in. Just pull a fuse. I just want to be able to flip a switch, but we'll see. You can add, that's Jay Thompson, you can add more timing whenever you add more octane. That's the whole point of it, but you have to realize that the factory timing curve is very conservative. So that's exactly what LSX Type is talking about. Too much octane can slow down the burn rate. That's why you have to add timing. Yada, yada, yada. WM Performance, have you ever gotten your toes wet on Alpha Int? Only on motorcycles. I have no clue, Jim. You have to remember, I'm not from around here. The track south of Erie. I didn't know that there was one up north of here. James Williams, most likely, you're right. He said somebody did a video putting E85 on an NA car and only got 7 horsepower from E50. But at the same time, 7 horsepower from E50 may be about right. I mean, I think there's people out there claiming that you pick up like 30 horsepower. I don't necessarily buy that. Yeah, VJ, I've got the link for that one, and honestly, I don't think there's $90 worth of product there. I have no issue spending the money if I think it's, and I want them to make money off of it by all means. But I mean, it's a $3 switch and maybe $15 worth of connectors and $10 worth of wire, and they're charging $90 for it. That just for that much, I'll just go out there and splice into it and wire the switch back myself because it's just one of those round switches. Ship for Life, what's the difference between Alpha and VE? Alpha N uses throttle position versus RPM, whereas VE uses manifold pressure to calculate volumetric efficiency. Technically, Alpha N is a volumetric efficiency strategy, but it is old school. If you're already at MTB, there's no more power to be gained by adding more time. In fact, if you go past MTB, you can physically break things. That's they're saying that is the breaking point. Whenever it comes to adding timing, just add timing where it needs to be added. Don't shift the entire thing up. Yeah, exactly. EFAN conversion harness, $200. No, thank you. There is something to be said about keeping wiring clean and things like that, but if you were to actually go out there and look up the harness connectors and stuff like that, you can get those connectors for 10, 15, 20 bucks, depending on what you're tapping into. People are very proud of their wiring harnesses. With your setup now, is it even worth running the DI injectors? Well, yeah, I mean, because for just driving around, they're great. So they're great for putting around town out of boost. As soon as we get into boost, then all the auxiliary stuff comes on, but just putting around out of boost, man, they do great. Well, Jim, we can always meet up at Youngstown. '18 Mustang 5.0 got 38 horsepower from E85. I'm guessing that's not from the stock tune, though. Tony, that is for a drawing. You can enter the raffle by putting exclamation point raffle in, and you can win one of my blown up pistons. Correct. That's the nice thing about E85 is it's what do they say, 110 octane is what it's the equivalent of. Just takes 30% more fuel. That's where you got to be aware of. That's a lot more fuel. Jet Black, you can get good stuff off of Amazon. And it doesn't have to cost that much. You can get good crimpers and stuff without having to buy the $100 crimpers. Thompson, Pennsylvania. Let me pull up the Google machine. Thompson, PA. Oh, man, that's a long way. That's completely on the other side. I'm in Pittsburgh, man. Keystone would be closer for me. Where you at, Jim? You're in Ohio. Why would you say Thompson? Thompson's on the other side of the state for both of us. Am I a Steeler fan? No, I don't care about professional football. I'm from Oklahoma, man. Care less about professional football. Thompson stage at... Oh, well, you said Thompson. I looked up Thompson, Pennsylvania. Should come down for Cleveland. Man. Oh, you're in Bolivar. Okay. There's a plague going on in Florida. Yeah, Keystone would probably be the closest. It's east of Pittsburgh. Yeah, I was about to say, it's not the stock tune on the Mustang. Couldn't have been if they made 38 horsepower on it. Any tips for fan tuning? Turn it on at 210. 200, 210. You want the engine to be hot. How long does it take me to get to Quaker City? An hour. Even with the trailer, it only took me an hour. Go long. Well, no. I'm Oklahoma State. Go Pokes. But I'd rather root for the Longhorns than the Sooners. You think that he didn't add any timing once the E was added. And he made 38. He didn't make 38 horsepower just by putting E50 in. Just don't buy it. Mike, you're going to get yourself banned. I don't care if you're a moderator. I'll still ban you. Sam, no plans to support Dodger Mopar in the near future for custom tunes. Oh, you got 2 semesters of learning then. What happened after that? Speed House, why don't you cover the EGRAC wideband setup versus serial? Because I've never done it. I only cover what I do. Now, we could do a video on that. I mean, I know enough about what's going on there, but... So is the Diablo Sport Tuner good or a goodbye engine? All can tunes are probably something to steer clear of. Unless you're stock. You know, outside of stock, maybe intake exhaust. Once you get beyond that, steer away from any plug-in cam tune. Unplugging my Texas Pride doesn't allow me to stay around. Unsubscribing. DY, I just said that I hate the Sooners. Like, we should be brothers in arms here. Motor Brewmaster, I've yet to get my car on the road course for tuning. Any suggestions best way to drive it for tuning? Find back roads and drive it like you're going to on the road course. It had to have come from timing. I mean, that's the only benefit of running E38 to get more powers from the timing. Brandon, I do probably. Randy, I'm surprised he's not here tonight, but Randy probably, Low Buck LS probably did an overview on the EGR wire thing. Yeah, I mean, I made it through like 1.5 good semesters at Oklahoma State. Winner chicken dinner. Let's see who gets a dead piston from the Super Auto. A piece of history. You'll look back at this and think, man, I remember back whenever that truck was only making a illegitimate like 600 to 700 horsepower. Now that truck is making 1,200 horsepower. Probably not soon, but, you know, hey, we'll get there one day. Jim White, congratulations. Tumbleweeds, yeah. Used to the place you used to go to drink whenever you're underage. I remember Tumbleweeds. I'll sign it. It ruins the value of a broken piston if I sign it. Jim, you know the drill. Even though I talked to you on the reg, send me an email and remind me that you won one of the pistons. Hey, I got a few more of them, so stay posted. Come to the Thursday shows. I'll give a couple more away. What should a 3-bar map read? Car on, engine off. 100 kPa or 1 bar? Seriously though, 100 kPa or 1 bar. That's the whole purpose. 3-bar map is 2 bars of positive pressure. So, or, 14.7 times 2, 29, 30 psi. There's nothing wrong with that one. I know a lot of people that's done that. D. White. Yes, I did used to tune Subarus. Any good with Cobb? You're asking me to remember stuff that I have forgotten long time ago. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Tyler Rice is willing to give away a decal. We're going to do a very quick raffle here. Let me add a giveaway. Tyler Rice recently got himself a vinyl cutting machine. Sent me some cool decals. He's actually working on some banners for the garage. So, and I've got a crooked one on the back of my truck. I kind of slapped it on there before I went to the drag strip. We'll do a 5-minute drawing real quick. And Tyler will hook you guys up with a Always Be Tuning decal. And they're nice size, He can make you a nice one. Hold on. Let me start the raffle, ding-dongs. Okay, the raffle is officially started. You've got 5 minutes to get in. Best way to contact you if I'm snagged up on learning to tune my Gen 5 swap. Patreon. Go to the website, goatropegarage.com. There's a link to our Patreon. You can join the $25 a month tier for tuners. Get you email assistance. That is the only way to contact me outside of the live show for tuning assistance. So, I had a conversation with somebody, and he understood afterwards. He was like, I'm on the $5 tier. I was like, listen, the $5 tier is not for tuning assistance. $5 tier gets access to the patron raffles, things like that. The $25 tier, people who are paying for the higher tier, they get that benefit. So, make sure that you choose the correct tier. Man, we got a good crowd in tonight. Broke 80 again. Things kind of slowed down there for a while. We're back up. Good night. And big shout out to Tyler for giving away a decal. And I'm super excited. I believe my banners will be here tomorrow. I'm going to hang one up next to my Nitrous Express banner. And I'll have one to take out to the track whenever we go out to the track. I'll hang it on Justin's trailer, whether or not he knows it or not. He's not in here tonight, so I can say whatever I want about what I'm going to do at Justin's trailer. I might try and make it out to the strip tomorrow because Justin's doing some test and tune on the motorcycle. Super Slower Auto. It does suck that you missed last week. I gave away a brand new Corvette. Literally on the live stream. Brand new Corvette. 2021. PCM Frenzy. Literally dealing with this with Jim White right now. He talks about scaling injectors on an E40 PCM. Based on what you can do, my favorite way of doing it is to do the injector flow rate in half, if possible, stoich double. Now, if you are running an injector that's so big like Jim White that you can't do that, then you have to get into trying to use the voltage table also. It can really get We will talk about it next week more often, or more. So come back, PCM Frenzy, come back next Thursday as Jim and I figures out his injector scaling because he's running like 160-pound injectors, which are just ridiculous. Mark H, yes, if you're the $15 tier, or Michael, I will call you by your real name, Mark H. If you were in the $15 tier, it has been closed off, but you're still in the $15 tier. So you are grandfathered in. Oh, awesome, Brian. I'm glad to hear it. I enjoyed it. I could barely talk at the end of it. I talked for 4 hours straight. I have not Scuba Sam. Ross Lawrence, I'm sure he is available for hire. Ross, if you want to shoot me an email, and if Tanner's cool with it, I will forward his information on to you. Correct. As long as you're in the $15 price, you're good forever. Mike says, how long has the Goat Rope Garage been going? Officially, it has been going for almost a year and a half now. We started really doing this stuff back in February or March of last year. Yeah, Jim, I'm feeling you there because I got to do some math to figure out because my duty cycle on my auxiliary fuel system said it hit 130 and it should not be, but glad to hear it, Vaseline. I'm glad you're there. You had some great questions, which always adds to the process of going through there is whenever people have good questions. So I do appreciate your participation in the class. Chevy for life. You did not win. Bingo, PCM Frenzy. That's what you're looking for. If you're running 80 pounders, bring them down to 40 and then double your stoic table. When is the next class? Brian asks. I need to do some more stuff. I want to poll the guys that took the first class, get some more feedback on how we do it. I'll be honest with you, 4 hours was a lot, but it wasn't quite enough to touch on all the things that we wanted to touch on. So I'm probably going to look at breaking down the next class into generations, like maybe do a Generation 3 focus class, then a Generation 4 or 5 class, and maybe do like the fundamental, like I've got to figure out a better way of presenting the information because there towards the end we were really kind of getting into a lot of information. I turned the fire hose on, tried to get as much out there as humanly possible, and I could have gone longer except for the fact at the end of 4 hours I could literally barely talk. I was starting to lose my voice. Okay, we have a winner. Let's pick a winner for the new Always Be Tuning decal. Thank you, Tanner. Jeff Zink. Jeff Zink, do me a favor. Shoot me an email. Let me know that you won the decal, and I will get your information over to Tyler. He'll hook you up. Do a PowerPoint. Well, the nice thing about it is literally we were just diving in and out of tunes and logs and things like that, and that's some other stuff of like different logs that I want to have on tap. I saw some of the things that I felt were lacking in being able to show information. We even dug into a E99 ECM, which not very many people have had a chance to play with. This one's got the fancy HP Tuners logos on them. Unlocked E99, so that was kind of cool. Yes, I did cram a lot of info into 4. Did I call you Tanner again, Tyler? I'm sorry. Tyler. I've only got 25,000 subscribers. I'm trying to keep all of you straight. I'm just kidding, Tyler. The problem is nobody has emails with their names on it, so I remember all you guys. Tyler is actually Trice. That's how I know Tyler as. So you're going to get called Tanner a lot. And ask Mark H about it. Who I recently found out his name is Michael. But I'm still going to call him Mark. Because it's MKH. Make a book. D. White, that would take a lot of stuff. Okay, what was Speedhouse question above? We'll answer Speedhouse question. Let me find it. and then we're going to call it a night. Where's Speedhouse's question? If I pay to be a member, how much tuning help comes with it? Just an overlooking advice, or do you actually fix it? Both. I mean, if you're a member and you have a specific issue, I will ask you to send me a copy of a log showing the issue and your tune, and I will try and help you sort out what the issue is. So, now I'm not going to tune for you, but if I can spot what the issue is, I will say, hey, this is what's going on. Check this table out. Make adjustments here. Things like that. Laconic Tom, what power was the Super Auto pushing on stock pistons? We got her up to 20 psi. So, if you're looking at 380 horsepower stock, general range, and you can double that at 14.7 with drivetrain loss, we're probably making a solid 700 on it. Especially back in the day whenever we were running 14, 15 psi. It did that reliably for a long time. Tyler, you all right? Okay, never mind. Somebody else shut it. I was about to say, you all right with your email getting out there? So, when is the goat rope form coming? Jet Black, we've got the YouTube or the Facebook thing that John does. Who's not here tonight. We do have a YouTube page that is endorsed by the channel. It's ran by John Trim, who has been a long-time standing member of the Patreon and is normally here. So, by all means, look up Goat Rope Garage on Facebook. There are people that are active on that. I personally am not, because I just don't do the Facebook stuff. So, check that out. That's a good way to do it. I didn't freeze, did I? I'm still looking good. Am I still looking good? I'm still moving. Still moving. Am I frozen? Nah, I'm still seeing myself moving up there. There you go. Yeah, as Tyler said, he has a plotter, not a printer. So, I have not shouted out Holly in a while, Chevy for life. So, hey, Holly, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping by the garage. You guys know the drill. We're shutting it down. It's 8:58. ABT. Always be tuning. You guys have a great weekend. Keep your eyes peeled. We're gonna be jamming a motor in a truck here soon with a lot of modifications. It'll be a tuning nightmare. So make sure and stick around for that. And I will see you guys next Thursday.